Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Cup of Joy. I'm your host, Ariana Joy Christie, and I am so glad that you are here. This is a space to inspire, to learn, to grow, and to challenge. Get ready to fill your cup and spread a little joy along the way. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Your Cup of Joy. I'm so happy to have you here. We've had quite a few guests recently, and I thought it was time for another solo episode, which always makes me feel a little bit like weird because here I am sitting in my office by myself, just like chit-chatting to me. But it's also kind of fun because it gives me time to reflect on how the week has been, things that have been going on, and things that I have been either touched by or thinking about that mean a lot to me. I also wanted to reflect on a couple of posts that I've done lately that seem to have resonated with a lot of people. Because when I started the podcast, it was with the reason to be able to speak in longer form about more sensitive topics or things that I wanted to dive more into, because social media is so like fast. It's like 30-second reels. If you're 45 seconds, like nobody's going to watch. Like they're just these fast, quick things where you don't really get to touch on the meaning behind or the feelings behind the posts. And some of the things are like sensitive topics or things that I kind of wanted to dive deeper into. So I was thinking that that's kind of what I'll do. Just a little check-in. I can't believe that I have a 3-year-old. Callie turned 3 this month, and it like kind of came and passed, and I'm like all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, she's 3. She's funny. She's saying like real sentences and words, and like she's kind of defiant too. Like she has an opinion, she tells me what she wants to eat for dinner. I'm like, what happened to my baby? And so I'm finding myself in kind of a new stage of life where I don't identify as like a newborn mom anymore or a baby mom. Like I have kids, toddlers, and like children who are doing activities and playing hockey and like being real people. And it's kind of wild. And at the same time, it's very exciting. I'm loving this stage of parenthood. I'm loving this stage of my kids. Like when I say they're funny and like I want to hang out with them, they're funny. And I really want to hang out with them. Like they do funny things. They like similar things that I like. And the activities we do together are so fun. So I'm just diving into that stage of parenthood. And as I do that, I'm understanding more that they understand a lot more than I have given them credit for in the past. They want to know why. Like, I feel like I'm in the why stage. If I tell them we're doing this tonight, they'll say why. And it used to be annoying to me. And now I'm realizing, no, they have understanding. They want to get why we're doing something. They want to understand when it's happening. And they want to have an opinion and autonomy. And I think that's really so cool to witness that change in them and to see that happen. And so I'm trying to remember, like when I was a kid, I had a babysitter. Her name was Jane. She was so incredible. She's like one of the most important people in my life. She taught me everything I know. And she was like a second mom to me. And when I talk about her and the relationship that I had with her when I was a kid, I often say, like, the reason that I felt so close to her and still do to this day is because she never treated me less than. Like, she treated me and spoke to me like I was allowed to have an opinion, like I was allowed to say what I felt or what I thought. And she respected my opinion. Like I never felt like she was just doing it out of due diligence or because she felt like she had to. She actually wanted to know what I thought, and she actually cared. And that type of like respect at that age really made me feel like so safe and close to her. And she was someone I always wanted to go to when I had something exciting to tell, or when I had a problem that I needed to solve, or when I had a question. Like she was who I felt safe and good with. And it's because she treated me like I was her equal. And so I often think about that when we talk to kids. Like sometimes we're like, oh, sweetie, you shouldn't do that. And we don't give them the benefit of the doubt or the credit of being these smart individuals. And so I'm trying to do that more. I'm trying to speak to them like their opinion matters, because I think not only does it show them respect, it also increases their confidence. And so I used to go to work and say, like, oh, I'm just going to work, or I'm going to hang out with friends, or whatever I'm doing, and not really explain. Like, I would just be totally vague. And now I feel like they have such good understanding. I get to explain to them, like, oh, mom's going to a work event tonight, and this is what's going to take place there. Like, do you want me to take pictures so I can show you when I get home? And if I get a swag bag, like, I'll come home and show you the things that I got and maybe share them with you. And it becomes this fun thing where they get to understand what I'm doing and why. And I think for me, it's that takes away the guilt a little bit. I mean, I feel mom guilt will always be something that I feel no matter what. I think as a parent, that just doesn't really go away. But it's been really cool for me to explain to them, like, hey, you know how mommy got to come to your field trip? Like, I could do that because sometimes at night I have to go to work and my work is flexible. And so that allows me to be able to come and spend daytimes with you. Or, that cool toy that we got, like, that was from mommy's work. And so getting to explain why we work and why we're taking that time away from our kids when we are at work, I think is really helpful, and it helps them to really understand. And then when you can verbalize the time that you do have together, maybe on weekends or evenings or dinners, I've started to say to them, like, isn't this so nice that we get to have this time together? Like, let's really enjoy this time together. And I think that's been helpful for me and also for them. I had a really cool time this week because I got to share my work with them. I think, this field of work is a little bit weird and funny. There's like PR events and so many different things. And now we're getting into holiday season. So I took the kids to the Swerve PR holiday showcase event. And typically, like, when I've been to these events before where it says, like, oh, bring your kids or kids are welcome, I'm like, oh, it would be so hard to logistically figure out, like, with nap times and dinner and bedtime that's early and driving to Toronto and all of these things. Like, it just seemed like too much and overwhelming for them. Like, I was like, are they even going to enjoy it? Or is it just for me? And I never want to put them in a place where they feel uncomfortable or are not happy. So I had never brought them to a work event before, or at least not like a PR or like networking event. And so I got to bring them. I asked them if they wanted to go. They were so excited. I was like, Santa's going to be there. There will be snacks and you get to test out the toys. And basically, it's this PR agency represents all of these toy brands and they bring the best toys of the year that are going to be like the hot holiday Christmas gifts. And your kids get to test them out and play with them. And it was so fun. So I picked them up early from school. I made it like this special thing. I packed snacks for the car. We just chit chatted the whole car ride. And then we got there and they had so much fun. And it was just really cool for them to understand. Like, now when I say I'm going to work, they're like, oh, what's going to be at that event? Or what are you doing in Toronto? And so it's very cool to be able to share my work with my kids. I remember, like, thinking back to when I was a kid, my dad owned a sports store in our little town, Waterdown, and my mom was a music therapist. And I remember going to work with them some days. Like, sometimes they had like take your kid to work days, but also if I was sick or had a PD day or anything like that, I got to go with them. And I'm sure it was a huge inconvenience to them. Like, now as a parent, I'm like, oh, they probably were like, oh my gosh, my kids don't have school today. I have to bring them to my work. It's going to be so much work. But I remember loving those times, getting to see my parents in their element, doing their job and understanding that that's what contributed to our household. Like, I just think it's cool to be able to share what we do with our kids in a healthy way. And I know not everybody's job allows for that. But I think even if it doesn't, having those conversations with your kids, taking pictures, showing them like what you're doing really creates very cool conversation and shows them what kind of jobs are out there, what kind of things they might want to do when they grow up. because I've been sharing my job with my kids and Mike goes to work, we sometimes talk about like, oh, what's daddy doing at work? Or we'll drive past one of his real estate signs and the kids will say, like, oh, why is that there? What does that mean? And so getting to share with them kind of what our days look like has been so very cool. I also remember hearing, I think it was like a child psychologist say, it was in a reel or something online, where like when your kids come home from school, don't just say like, oh, how was your day? What did you do today? Because they don't always like think, a lot of time they don't share. They'll just be like, oh, I don't know, and move on with something else. And you don't get a lot out of them. But if you're struggling with that, this person said, instead of just asking like, oh, what did you do today? They suggested sharing actually what you did with you in your day. And then they're more likely to share because they're thinking about, oh, this is what mommy did all day. And then they reflect on what they did. And so I've been doing that a lot. Like they come home from school, I say like, oh, how was your day? They'll say, oh, good, whatever. And then I'll share with them, do you want to know what mommy did today? And I'll share. And then they are so much more likely to share. And I get to hear like the coolest stories about their day. And I think I'm lucky in having twins because when one shares, then the other is more likely to share too. So we have really good conversation when they come home from school. And I love that. I love to hear through their eyes what they did at school because I'll read the update from the week and I'll know kind of what they've done already. But I love to hear from them and their perspective and some of the little funny stories or friendships that they have. It's just very cool. But I've found at this stage, like the twins are 4, in having that time together and sharing what I'm doing, I get so much more out of their little mouths. They tell me so much more, which I really, really love. Um, I also find like the same principles work for things like your hobbies, like the gym for me, or Mike plays hockey, or I play soccer. Sometimes we've been able to bring the kids to those things. And I think it's really important to share your hobbies with your kids. Anything that's happening in your life, your friendships, anything like that. I just think it's so important for your kids to see you taking care of yourself because then they are so much more likely to realize and understand fully that those things are important for them too. You know, I want my kids to have hobbies. I want my kids to set goals and train hard to achieve those goals. I want my kids to have really, really great friendships and things that they like to do and interests. And so um, I just think it's been a really cool opportunity to be able to share that with my kids. And I've seen so much benefit in that. And then they're asking questions like they want to see, you know, the outfits I'm wearing or the things I'm doing at the gym or the houses that Mike is selling. Like it's very cool to have these conversations with our kids. I feel very lucky for them. Part of that too, and something I wanted to talk about was after school routines, because I've been living for our after school routines. Um, you know, we work hard during the day. Our kids work very hard at school doing all of their work. And when they come home, it can be really tiring and we can be like, oh, we have to cook dinner and we have to flip the laundry and we have to clean. It can seem like so many things to have to do. But I think when we slow it down, it's less stress for the kids. They feel more comfortable to share with what they've been doing in the day. And I enjoy that time so much with them. So I've really started to try to have some snack prepared and ready for them. Whether I've baked it because I've had time during the day or worked from home, like that would be the ideal. That's my goal. That's what I try to do, but it's not realistic all the time. So if it's just a snack that's in your cupboard, like that's totally cool too. And they come home, we hang up their bags, they take their lunch pails out, they put their lunch pails on the counter. Like I'm trying to instill this like routine. And then we sit down together and we have an after school snack. And during the after school snack is when we get to share with each other how our day was, what things we did, what things we're looking forward to. I also take that time as the opportunity to share with them what's happening the next day. My kids love to know the plan of the week or the weekend or what things we have to look forward to. And I think that's been really good and helpful too, just for expectations and understanding schedules. And then we play a game. And I've been loving to play games. Like when I was a kid, we were a big game family. We loved board games. Now we've been able to play, like, I just got Jenga for them. They love Jenga. They played it at my grandparents' house. It's so fun for the whole family. Like we have a really, really good time playing it. And I find when we're doing an activity like that, they also are sharing with me like, Mom, today so-and-so did this at school. And we get to hear way more from them in that regard. So snack and game is like my go-to after school routine. And it still leaves me enough time to cook dinner. You know, I can cook while we're playing too. Like we play at the kitchen table. So if I have to multitask, like that's totally cool. If they want to help cook dinner, that's really nice also. But I just found these little things have been so helpful. I think the last podcast episode that came out, I chatted with this author who was so incredible and talked about play. He was in theater. So if you listened to that, you'll already know. But I've been really reflecting on that episode a lot and really thinking about play with my kids. And it has avoided meltdowns like all the time. Callie wouldn't let me brush her teeth the other night. And I was getting so frustrated. I was like, just let me brush your teeth. You need to go to bed. Like, come on. And she would not let me. And I was like, no is not an answer. Like, we have to brush your teeth. I don't want you to have cavities. You have to have clean teeth. Like, you have to let me brush your teeth. And I remembered him saying, like, if you get on their level and play with them, like they're so receptive. So I stopped. Like she was fighting, she was crying, she was screaming. I stopped. I said, oh, Callie, do you see this? And I pointed to the toothbrush. I said, this is a choo-choo train. And the choo-choo train is trying really hard to go through the tunnel. And it does not want to miss the tunnel. And the tunnel is your mouth. And I created this whole game with her immediately. Stopped crying, laughed, played the game, let me brush her teeth. I literally was like, this is a real life example. When the kids have gotten off the bus, I've really tried to do like imaginary things with them. And it seems silly in the moment. Like the first couple of times, it was like a little bit hard for me. I was like, this is so weird. But they're so receptive. They're so fun. They're so creative. And then we really do just connect on this level that's so incredible. So use your imagination with your kids. Be silly. Create these moments and stories. Build these bricks. That's what he says. It's like brick building. So like you put a brick, they put a brick. So you say like, guys, are we in outer space? And then they will say like, yeah, I think so. Like I'm an astronaut. And then you say, oh, I see this planet. And you just keep building this world, these bricks of imagination. And it's actually so fun. Like then I think it brings out the inner child in us. And it just brings you so close to your kids. Like I have just felt so connected to them lately. And I know I shared with you guys too. And I've shared on the Mom Room on Renee's podcast a little bit more about our journey with Oscar and his behaviors and seeing an occupational therapist. And I just think these little things have made such a difference, giving him some sense of responsibility, asking him for his help with like daily tasks. Instead of pushing our kids away, I think having our kids support and help in our everyday activities and be involved, even though it might slow it down, you know, cooking dinner might take extra time if they're cutting up the vegetables with me. It's so worth it for them to feel included and important and to have purpose. It's just been really, really beautiful. And it's made me enjoy the journey so much more. Like I just love this stage. It's so much fun. So these are all like little things that I've been doing that have been very, very helpful with feeling connected to the kids and with their overall happiness, I think. I wanted to chat a little bit too about solo events. I went to an event by myself yesterday, and I'm not one to feel like socially awkward or anxious. Like I'm a pretty sociable person. I really love people. I love connection. But I started to feel nervous. I don't know if it's because I've been going to events a lot with Renee or with friends. Like I've not been doing a lot of solo things, but I even texted my manager. Like I was like, should I even go to this thing? Like I'm going by myself. I don't have a +1. Like, should I just not go? And they were like, no, go. Like you'll meet people, you'll chat to people there. It will be fun. And I got there, I felt a little bit awkward. But I'm so glad that I went. I had incredible conversations with people there that I don't think I would have had if I was with a friend. Like then I probably would have stayed to myself with my friend, like chit-chatted, which would have been fun too. But I just got to meet really, really cool people. I had very intentional conversations. I really connected and felt like so good. And I had so much fun. There was like no pressure. It was just like a very fun event. It was for dairy farmers of Ontario. And I love to cook. You guys know I love a recipe. And so I thought like, oh, this is a great brand to work with. We use a lot of dairy products in our house. My kids drink a lot of milk. I bake and cook with milk and butter, especially cheese is like a staple in our home. Um, and my father-in-law was in the dairy industry. His family was in the dairy industry. And so I just was like, I think I should go. And I'm so glad that I did. It was like a really cool, like outdoor cooking experience. We learned about cooking on an open fire, which I kind of want to try at home. I think the kids would really love it too. But when I was reflecting on the car ride home, I just really thought like these conversations really made me think that I was having with people. It was about community and connection and sharing, and kind of the reason I started sharing online. And there were just these really beautiful conversations. And I was like, I wouldn't have had this if I stayed home. You know, I would have been probably like doing laundry or stressing about something else. And so it was just like a really good moment to think like, sometimes you got to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and do something for you. And even the car ride, like it was nice to listen to a podcast on the way there and listen to just like music that I like on the way home and just be with myself. I think when life gets busy, you don't just get time alone. So, if you've been looking for a sign to do something just you for you that you would enjoy, this is your sign. Go to a solo event or an event solo, date yourself, take yourself to dinner. Like, go do something that you've always wanted to do, maybe that you haven't done. And if it's by yourself, it's totally fun. I think Renee always encouraged me to do that. I went to a concert by myself in the summer and I had the best time. And I think it's just really just goes to show that we don't always have to be with people. Sometimes I feel like that, but it's okay to do things by yourself. And I'm so glad that I went to this event. I also have been reflecting a lot. So I know sometimes I like preach things, I say things, and then I reflect and think like, oh, I should listen to myself. One of those things I've been reminded by a friend of mine from the gym. Rest. Rest is a form of self care. And I think in my life, especially, it's an undervalued type of self care. I don't sleep a lot because I do a lot, and I don't let my body recover, or I just like to push myself. And I think that that comes to a head. Like at some point, that's got to stop. That has to end because I find myself running myself dry. Like I have nothing left in me. I have nothing left to give. My body is sore. My body's spent. Like I think I need to focus on rest. And I think I've known this for a long time, but I've not really lived it because the hustle and bustle, especially when you have three little ones, is just how it goes. You know, we go through these seasons of life where it's busy. Um, and I don't know how to rest. I think sometimes I feel uncomfortable. When I don't have something on the agenda or something to do or a task. I think that's why I like to bake, honestly. Like that's my rest for me because there's an outcome, like there's a reward at the end. Whatever you're baking is the reward. And so I just think I need to rest. That's been like on my mind lately. I need to just chill. And it doesn't seem realistic for me in the next week and a half or so, but I'm going to. And if you needed that sign too, like here it is. Rest has just been something that I've totally been thinking about. Um, a couple of posts that I've done lately online that I wanted to touch on a little bit because I got a lot of feedback from both of them. First one is extended breastfeeding. I am still nursing Callie, believe it or not. I thought she would have been done over a year ago. I even did like a breastfeeding photo shoot because I thought like, oh, for sure she's going to be done. She's almost 2. Now she's 3 and she is still always asking for the tit. So I have mixed feelings about it. Like I feel ready to be done in one sense because she's grown. Like I'm having full conversations with her. She's like her own person, you know, she's feisty, she's fun. I'm like, obviously you don't need it. But then at the same time, like it's my connection to her. I feel so connected to her when I'm nursing her, and I don't want to lose that either. And there are so many benefits to extended breastfeeding. Like, knock on wood, she rarely gets sick. Like, both boys have been sick with the flu and colds. She's been fine. I feel very lucky about that. And I think that it's not a coincidence. Like, I know she's getting antibodies from my breast milk. And it's just like our time to unwind. When she's upset, like it calms her. It's nice to just know that there's one thing that will always work. So I don't know. I think I'll be sad when it's done. But for now, I'm just embracing it as it is. I have no pressure on it. Like, I don't tell her it's time for a boob. I only give it to her when she asks. Sometimes it's twice a day, like sometimes it's morning and night. This morning she fed, but the past 4 days she didn't. I thought we were down to one time a day, like just at night. Sometimes I'm away at night, sometimes I'm away for days. And I think like when I come home, will she ask for it? If she doesn't, okay. And if she does, okay. I'm just kind of going with the flow and trying to just be as natural as I can be. But I realize that it's offensive to some people. Like some people are like pissed. Like she has teeth. Like for years they've been saying that to me. Um or that's gross or like, she doesn't need that. Is she even getting anything out of it? Um and to that I just say like if you don't like it, don't engage. That's fine. Like you can make the decision for you. I also have friends who had a very hard time breastfeeding and maybe would have loved to be able to breastfeed their kids and couldn't. Like there are so many factors that come into play. And so if this is triggering for you, like feel free to fast forward. If it's not, okay. I just put no pressure on it. Like if my kids had to bottle feed, I would bottle feed them. If like they didn't, they liked to breastfeed, great. Like I think that you should do what feels best for you and your family always, no matter what the topic is. Breastfeeding, sleeping, extra vitamins, like whatever it is that you're doing, do what works for you and what feels good. I believe that a mother's intuition is always right. I've seen it time and time and time again in my own situations, in my friends' situations, online. Like we were made to have this intuition, to really know how our kids feel, what they need. And I think you should just always trust your gut and do what feels best for you. But it is so funny to me that breastfeeding a toddler is so controversial online and that people care so much about what you're doing. And like they're so intrigued. It's wild to me. I feel very lucky that I'm confident in my decision and that like I really don't care. Like if we're at a park and she asks for a boob, I'm going to give it to her. And if people look at me weird, like cool, too bad. I wish more people would feel that way. So if you are a breastfeeding mom or you are going to be a breastfeeding mom, you aspire to be, you plan on feeding your future kids, just know that we don't cover our kids when they eat their granola bars at the park. I give my kids bags of goldfish all the time. I don't cover them up. So if you feel like breastfeeding your child, no matter what their age, just do it. Who cares? That's my motto. And for now, I'm happy that she feels good and comfortable and happy to feed. And whenever she's done, I will also totally be cool with that. But it is crazy to me that I really thought she was going to be done like 2 years ago or like a year and a half ago. And here we are. It's wild. The other thing that I've posted about lately is kind of a maybe controversial is not the right word, but maybe like sensitive topic. And I totally understand that. So I want to preface it by saying, like, if this makes you feel uncomfortable or you're not into this topic or you don't agree with me, like, that's okay too. Totally feel free to not listen or to tell me your opinion. Like, I'm always open to hearing, but I'm just sharing from my personal experience and from my feelings. I have talked about my weight loss a little bit. I don't talk about it a lot because I think that everybody's situation is different and I still feel like I am healing. So sometimes I don't know exactly how I feel. But I made a post this week that a lot of people resonated with, and it was about my weight loss. Because I have this dress. So I have a dress that I bought in Barcelona. I went on a trip there for my work actually, and Mike's work, and there's like a dressy night, and I wasn't comfortable in anything at that point in time. I think I was 18 months postpartum with Callie. I brought Callie with me. I was still nursing. She was up in the night, and I was just not comfortable in my body. I don't think I was comfortable with who I was. Like, I don't think that I was fully aware of that either, just in general. And my sister came with us and we went shopping. We went to Zara, and I was like, I don't know, like I brought a dress, but I don't love it. I really wasn't comfortable in anything except my pajamas or sweatpants, because anything that felt tight on my body, I felt so self-conscious in. My body didn't feel like my own. My boobs were changing sizes all the time based on how much she was feeding. I wasn't comfortable at all. I wasn't confident at all either. And I went to Zara with Micah, and I saw this dress and I was like, this dress is so cute. Like, you have to try it on, like, to her, because I didn't think that I could wear it and feel good about myself. And she's like, you try it. Like, it was in my size. So I tried it on and I felt so self-conscious, but I really loved the dress. And I thought, I don't have anything else to wear here. And at that point in time, I had really been like coming to terms with like trying to really love myself. And I was talking about it online, and it was one of those things where, like, if I'm preaching it, I got to believe it too. And so I remember looking at myself in the mirror and being like, you are beautiful. Like, you are worthy. You're allowed to wear this. Like, whatever size you are doesn't define what kind of clothes you can wear. Like, wear the damn dress. So I bought the dress. That was step one. And I thought, even if I don't wear it here, like, maybe someday I'll wear it. And then I remember I changed back and forth between these dresses so many times. And Mike was really encouraging to me. My sister was really encouraging, like, wear it. Like, you look great. And in my head, I just was like, oh, I wasn't used to having something like form fitting on me. Anyway, I wore the dress. I just looked at myself and was like, instill some confidence, girlfriend. Like, you got this. Who cares? Wear it. And I went to the event, and I remember somebody who I really love. Like, she wasn't being mean. It wasn't malicious. She came up to me and she said, oh my gosh, Ariana, you're so brave. And I remember it felt like a dagger in my heart. Like, I was like, brave for what? For showing up just like everybody else in this place? Like, what is brave about that? The fact that I put on a dress and showed up to an event that I was invited to? That's not brave. Like, you're saying that I don't look the way that you think I should. Like, that's what those words said to me. Immediately, I got self-conscious. I ran to the bathroom. I was like, I gotta go home. Like, I can't be here. I felt so terrible. And I looked at myself in the mirror again, and I said, like, those people's words don't matter. Like, she didn't mean it in that way. You look great. Just wear the damn dress. Let's go. And it took a lot of self-reflection and self-talk to be like, okay, like, I am worthy. I'm allowed to be here. Like, I'm allowed to hold space in this world. My size does not matter. My size does not dictate who I am or what I am or my worth in any regard. Believing that is very difficult when you're in that space. Like, I was just low in who I was as a human being. Like, forget my looks. I was lost in motherhood, and that's a very hard place to be. But I really took some time in that bathroom to be like, okay, like, you control how you feel, nobody else. And so you can choose to feel like shit and to be sad that somebody made a comment to you and to believe what they say, or you can believe what you already know, which is that you are worthy and you're allowed to go out there looking however you want to look, and you're going to have a good time. And so I did. And I did have a good time. But those words stuck with me forever. And now that I've lost weight, I shared in another solo episode about that journey to kind of self-care and taking care of myself and respecting myself and my mind and my body, and kind of why I've been working out. Like, for me, it's so much more of a mental thing. But I saw the dress in my closet the other day, and I put it on, and I was like, I still have those feelings. Like, I still feel self-conscious. I still feel like, oh, should I wear it? I don't know. Like it's form fitting. Like I'm still having those feelings. And I think it just goes to show it's not about the size. It's not even about how you look. Like confidence is from within. And wearing something does not make you brave. You know what makes you brave? What makes you brave is being yourself, showing up for you, showing up for others, taking a risk, setting a goal, training for something, dedicating yourself to something, making time for yourself when you feel guilty about it. Those things make you brave. But wearing a dress and showing up to an event that you were invited to does not make you brave. And so I posted about this, just like kind of my reflections on it, and so many people resonated with it. And I think it's this thing where we just don't feel worthy when we don't feel ourselves, and it's terrible. At every stage of life, you should enjoy and you should love who you are. Like I was deserved love and care the same amount then as I do now. My size doesn't change or dictate my worth in any regard, and neither does yours. Like it's very sad for me to look back and think that, and to know that now I still feel those negative feelings sometimes. Like it really isn't about how much you weigh or how you look at all. And I just wanted to share that a little bit more because, I wrote a caption about it, but I just have been reflecting a lot, and it's been, a year and a half, almost 2 years since that happened. And I still think about it. And so the other piece that I wanted to talk about in this situation was that your words hold weight. Your words hold weight. What you say can impact somebody for the rest of their life. I might think about this moment for the rest of my life. I totally could. Even though I wanted to let go of it, even though I knew it wasn't malicious, even though I love this person who said it, like it wasn't to be mean, but your words hold weight. And I just think we need to focus more on kindness and support and who somebody is, not how somebody looks. Like, it's just wild to me. I just think we need to be kind human beings and support people where they are, no matter what, and focus on who somebody is, not how somebody looks, you know? And speaking about looks, I want to end this episode by talking about something in pop culture, because I talked about this on Friend of this week. We recorded this morning and we touched on it a little bit, but I've been reflecting on this too. It just was the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And when I was in high school, like this was the thing. Okay. Like it was like the Super Bowl, like people would dress up. We would watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show. It would be like huge news: who was performing, who was walking, who was going to open, who was going to wear like the biggest wings, what the outfits were going to be. Like it was wild. And when I was in high school, like back in those days, it was like the models were sharing like 1 month out, 2 weeks out, 1 week out, the day before, what we're doing for our diet and workouts to look like the skinniest possible. It was very unhealthy, if I'm being honest. And it gave these very unrealistic expectations of how we were to look. And I remember later in high school or maybe in university, like I think Victoria's Secret fashion show was like almost canceled. Like it was like, wait, diet culture, not healthy. Setting these unrealistic expectations and goals of what beauty standards are supposed to be, not healthy. And people kind of veered away from the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Now I kind of love that it's coming back full circle. So the person that opened the show, a pregnant woman walked in the Victoria's Secret fashion show opening the show. Mic drop. Immediately, mic drop. I literally was like, this is so badass. Women are incredible. Like our bodies are sick. They're so cool. Look at her. Like glowing, pregnant with child, opening the show. I was like immediately obsessed. Then they had somebody from the WNBA walk in the show, which I thought, yes, like athletes are beautiful, stunning. We have to like embrace and celebrate these bodies, like dedication, hard work. That's what goes into this. And I loved that. It was incredible. Like, I was so happy to see that. The representation was incredible in this show. Some of the OGs were still in it, like Candace and Adriana, and I think that was like Gigi Hadid was in it, Bella Hadid. I think that was incredible and very cool too. Like, I loved to also see them. Ashley Graham walked the Victoria's Secret fashion show, which I loved. And I saw an interview that she did about how, like, you change as a human being after giving birth and after having babies. Like, yes, your body changes, but like, you change too. And how beautiful to be able to embrace that and showcase that in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. I just thought it was so incredible, so beautiful. I love that they are really having like this inclusion and celebration, really, of women and women's bodies and what we as women do. And I'm here for this movement. So, all of that to say, I enjoyed the Victoria's Secret fashion show. I think you should be happy in your body as you are. And it's so difficult to do. Like, I say that, I know, in this light way, and I know that it takes so much work. I still struggle really with that. Like, self-love is very, very difficult. But I just encourage you, like, every day, find one thing that you really love about yourself and tell yourself. Find one thing that you're like so proud of that you've done or are doing or are working towards, and just show yourself a little bit of love. Because I think that was the messaging in that I was getting in response to this post, was just that it really is so important. Uh, and our worth is not defined by how we look. So that's a little update. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking in. I hope that you will do something for you this week. And if you feel so inclined, share it with me, what it is that you're doing. I love to hear words of encouragement that others could take and roll with, and just creative ideas to show yourself some love and some care. I hope you guys have the best week. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Your Cup of Joy. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. And if this episode resonated with you, or if you've been loving this show, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you are listening. Your support helps the podcast grow, it helps it reach more people, and it means the absolute world to me. So keep filling your cup with joy, and I will see you next week.